Hi. All right, so I'm back for my second installment on mom blogging. Should have checked what I look like before I started this. I'm actually coming at you from a cottage. We rented a cottage. I don't know if this is a normal thing to do outside of Ontario, but we rented a cottage for the week with the kids, and it's been beautiful. It's a little windy and cold today, but I'll take it any day. So I got some really nice feedback from my last video, so thank you to the people who watched it. And I also got a couple of questions and messages, and some of them were for people who had never met me before. And I'll tell you what, when you become a blogger and people who you've never met start commenting, messaging you, private messaging you to ask you questions, that is the best thing in the world. Oh my goodness, it means like somebody other than your mother is reading you, and that means so much. So thank you to those people who reached out, and I'm actually going to answer one of the questions that I got a few times based on my last video. And that was a request for me to get a bit more specific about what mommy blogging has done for me. So just a quick recap, I have been a mom blogger for 7 years, since 2009. I hated saying that I was a mom blogger, but you know what? I have come to just believe that I need to embrace it because it has absolutely changed the course of my life. As I mentioned in the last video, I actually went to school to become a teacher. My dream was to become a journalist. And for whatever reason, I didn't pursue it. And I still feel quite regretful of that. But, you know, the past is the past. And I thought teaching was a safer and better job. And, you know, I could still write and incorporate all those things that I liked. So I went to school to be a teacher, and I very much liked it. But after I had my first son, my life was turned upside down, and going back to teaching was just not an option for me. But not working also didn't necessarily feel like it was an option. And by not working, I mean not working outside of the home. And so I decided to start a mom blog kind of as a way to dump all my thoughts and feelings onto virtual paper. You know, just to rid myself of these thoughts. I didn't have very many mom friends. I had no idea what I was doing. I was still in my 20s and you know, a couple years younger than a lot of the women I was meeting when I went to mom groups. So I felt very alone and very isolated. So I started a blog really just as a brain dump. But within a month, I recognized that this could potentially be something that jump-started something else for me. And I'll be honest, I had no clue what that something else was, but you know, I was willing to kind of continue, try to get better, and see what happened. So for me, and I'm going to take you on my journey right now, within 3 months of beginning my mom blog, which is called Sleeping is for Losers, I started putting out feelers about guest posting, and I happened to guest post, that means writing for somebody else, on a collective called Urban Moms. And this is the beginning of a complete change in my life. I will forever adore and appreciate and love Jen, who began Urban Moms, because she completely she gave me that foot in the door that I don't know that I would have gotten otherwise. So I wrote a guest post for them, and based on that guest post, Jen, the owner of Urban Moms, owner and founder, asked me if I would consider blogging for them. And that started, I think, a 2 to 3 year relationship with Urban Moms, which was so special and amazing because I got to grow in my blog writing for a huge audience. I think they were reaching 50,000 homes each month, something like that. It was the kind of reach I could never get truly on my own. And, that's where my blogging adventures really started. So I blogged for Urban Moms for about, just a little over 2 years, something like that. And then I left after I had my second son. And after I left, I still wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do with blogging, but I kept up with Sleeping is for Losers, wrote a little bit here and there, and lo and behold, I sent out an email one day to a magazine pitching a story idea. I had never done something like that before, and they took it. And I mean, that's beginner's luck, because believe me, since that time, I have sent out thousands of emails, and I have gotten 0 response. So it was beginner's luck for me, but sometimes when you don't know what you're doing, it's the best time to jump in with 2 feet, because what do you have to lose, right? And from there, I was able to establish a really solid, really exciting freelance writing career, something that I'd always dreamed of having. I mean, what I wanted was to write. Lifestyle, parenting, entertainment, those were the things that were interesting to me, and I wanted to write about them in print, and I got to. So I started freelancing, and a few years into my freelancing gigs, I had the opportunity to write a national column for a newspaper here in Canada. It was printed from coast to coast in Canada every week with a focus on education, because that was my background, and also parenting. It was an experiment, something that they were trying out, and they kind of gave me a parameter of 2 to 3 months, and I ended up staying for a little over a year writing my weekly column. And that for me was the pinnacle of my writing experience. It was exactly what I wanted to do, something I wanted to experience. And when it came to the end of a year and I realized that I wasn't enjoying it as much, I could walk away knowing that I'd accomplished one of my goals. So check, check, check. It was so exciting. All of that came because I started a blog called Sleeping is for Losers, and I started it very unintentionally. And I think that that's a really important thing to note. I didn't start with a business plan. I didn't start, with a 30-day course and 17 posts written and, perfect pictures that were ready to pin. I just started a blog, wrote my thoughts out, and I think because I put out real stuff, real people came into my life wanting me to be part of whatever project was that they had going on. After I finished that national column, I had the opportunity, and this came out of left field, and it's the most amazing thing, again, to host a television show. So, if we go back, I was blogging for Urban Moms. Check. That was something I always wanted to be able to do with a crazy reach, and I met some amazing people. Then I was freelance writing for major magazines across Canada and the United States, and a couple of international ones as well. Then I wrote a column for a national newspaper that was published each week, and lots of people hated me for it, but you know what? I was published each week in a newspaper, so I don't really care. And then, out of the blue, this opportunity came up to host a daily live talk show. Now, up to that point, I had been on TV. I had done a lot of guest spots on news television shows and news talk radio. I had also done a lot of commercials that were completely independent from my writing and really didn't have anything to do with my blog, but I'd never hosted a television show. I'd happened to be a guest on this show, however, because of my blog, and we can talk about that in another video. And I hit it off with the producer, and she asked me if I wanted to come in and audition, and I did, and I got it. I got it. And so for another year after that, I finished doing that national column, I was hosting a live daily lifestyle television talk show, and it was the most exhilarating, thrilling experience of my life. I loved getting up every day. And, I knew it was only a year contract, and I made the absolute best of it. And to this day, it will always be my favorite job. It was so fantastic. Since then, after I stopped doing that, I've continued to freelance. I've continued to have jobs in marketing and public relations. And the basis, the foundation for every single one of those things is my blog. I didn't go to school for any of it. I didn't go to school to be a freelance writer. I didn't go to school to be on television. I didn't go to school for marketing or PR. The basis of every single money-making job that I have ever had has been Sleeping is for Losers. And on top of that, the majority of it has been at home. So I've been able to, be with my kids until they were ready to go to school. And I've also been able to make money off my blog through sponsor posts and advertising and all of that. So thank you so much, Christina, I think that's your name, for your question. I hope that clarifies exactly what blogging has brought to my life. And I think it's important also to note that it's different for everyone. I have friends that, from their blog ended up working with brands, and they now represent other bloggers and create relationships for bloggers and brands. I have friends who've gone and actually worked for brands full time after blogging. Or because of their blog, worked in PR, worked in marketing. I have friends who solely focus on their blog, have never worked outside of their blog, and make a complete living. So, a big part of my aha light bulb moment of why mommy blogging is so important comes from the fact that it can sustain you. It can change the course of your life. It can kind of make those dreams come true that you always had. Was it easy? No. There was some definite dumb luck. I just happened to be the right girl in the right place at the right time. There was a heck of a lot of hard work, more than anyone ever realizes. I can't tell you how many nights I stayed up till 3, 4 in the morning and then woke up at 5 a.m. with my screaming baby just to get everything done that I needed to get done. But it has been 100% worth it. So I'm going to stop there. 10 minutes is a little longer than I meant it to be. And I also want to get outside and enjoy a little bit of the sunshine before it goes away. But you guys, I'm going to continue making these videos each week just to talk about how important it is to start your own blog, create your own digital footprint, make yourself known online, and really take control of where you see your life going, especially moms out there. We get so consumed with being a perfect parent that we let go of some of those dreams that we had. And I think this is the time. Right now, where you are, this is the time to take control of those dreams and really make things happen for you. See you next time.